what's going on? It's your boy MarkydanTheHistorian coming to you for the fourth episode of Political Discourse hosted by DubRightSide. And like I said, myself, MarkydanTheHistorian. This is going to be our weekly news roundup. We've had a very, very busy week of news. Let me introduce my two STN brothers. Shout out to the whole STN. Let me go ahead and introduce firstly my co-host Dub right side, and then D Free, you go ahead and give your opening words. Go ahead, Dub.
Man, shout out to my brother Marky, man. Shout out to my brother Free. It's always nice to come over here and have great political speech and conversation with y'all. And I look forward to the show, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Marky Dan, Dub Right Side. Thanks for having me up here. This is the first time I think I actually joined y'all on a political show. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a ball tonight.
Most of. So, the topic that was eating up most of the news cycle for at least the past week, as I'm sure everyone up here and everyone that's going to be coming through in the chat, please smash the like button, subscribe. Once again, I want to say thank you to everybody that got my channel to 100 subs. Please keep helping me growing. But getting into the first topic, it's obviously going to be Israel, Iran. So just for me to briefly summarize, this entire war, conflict, whatever you want to call it, started on June 12th when Israel made the decision to attack Iran. They made the decision to attack Iran's nuclear facilities, and they killed unalived the head of Iran's armed forces, the head of their Islamic Republican Guard, as well as the top two scientists on their nuclear program. Then it was from then to about June 19th, last Friday, it was just back and forth bombings, back and forth. The civilian death casualty in some news sources had reported that it's risen to over 600 civilian deaths. That's just in Iran. Israel is reporting upwards of 34 civilian deaths since the start of the conflict on June 12th. On June 9th, since June 12th, Trump has come out with extremely escalatory rhetoric. He said things like, we have control over Iran's skies. He says we, when referring actually to the Israeli Air Force. Then he basically threatens to assassinate Iran's supreme leader, and also tells them that they want unconditional surrender. So on June 19th, Trump says he's gonna give them about 2 weeks, he's gonna give the situation about 2 weeks before he makes a decision whether we're gonna go to war, whether we're gonna drop a bomb, whether we're gonna pursue diplomacy, whatever the case is. That apparently was a lie because on June 19th, 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, which currently are the most advanced bombing aircraft we have in our armed forces. 7 of them carrying 14 uh, 30,000-pound GBUs were carrying it all the way over to Iran. They took off on June 19th. So Trump never had any intention on waiting 2 weeks. They linked up with 120 other aircrafts that were fifth generation fighters, and they bombed Iran's 3 main uranium enrichment facilities, which were Fordow, Isfahan, and Natanz. Since then, there has been pretty spotty reports as to the actual damage. Trump said that it's been obliterated. There was an initial assessment report which Pete Hegseth says they have low confidence in, that came out on Monday. It was leaked to CNN that said that the Fordow facility had not been obliterated, that the entrance around it had just been collapsed, and that Iran's nuclear program was only pushed back about maybe a few months. So we're still very spotty about the actual effect of the bombings, despite the fact that these GBUs, these 30,000-pound bombs, they're supposed to be the most powerful bombs outside of a nuclear bomb that we have in our arsenal. But at this current time, we don't know the actual effect of it. So Trump might be declaring victory a little too soon. we currently have a ceasefire in place between Israel and Iran. We don't know how long that's going to hold, especially given the fact that Iran has said they're not going to stop their nuclear program at all whatsoever, no matter what Israel and the U.S. does. So we're going to hear more about this next week when Trump sits down to talk with Iran. But before I let you brothers go, man, this that was a lot of information. Firstly, but this whole situation had nothing to do with us. It had nothing at all whatsoever to do with the United States of America. And as of right now, since June 12th, or well, really since the beginning of this year up till now, I have not seen any evidence personally that Iran had any intentions to build a nuclear weapon. And if anything, all the assessments, even the ones coming out of Israel, said that they were a few months away. Meaning this is not something that Trump had to do right now. And even now, they at least the initial intelligence report says it's still a few months away. So we haven't really solved the problem. We could be back to bombing Iran maybe a couple months down the road, and then their air defenses will be better in that time. Like, we don't know what will happen. Maybe then their militia that they have in Iraq, they'll be more in a position to attack the next time they decide to bomb. So this whole situation, and I'm gonna let you brothers go because I've been talking for a long time. This whole situation, I'm gonna put a ball on it to blame it on Trump. This guy pulled us out of Obama's 2015 nuclear agreement because he said that he didn't like the fact that it lifted sanctions on Iran and it allowed Iran to get money from oil to pay for groups like Hezbollah and fund them with weapons. He pulled us out of that agreement. We ended up in a war because Iran was enriching their uranium above the 3% that was under the Obama agreement. Now he's saying, okay, let's go back into the nuclear agreement and I'll lift the sanctions. So what was the point the whole time? This was a pointless war. And if Americans, and again, I pray, I'm going to pray for peace. I'm always going to pray for peace. But again, this is a ceasefire. This is not a peace deal. We don't know what's going to happen in the next coming weeks. And if American servicemen die because of Trump's decision to involve us, once again, Israel dragging us into another conflict, bro, it's going to be hell to pay next year in the midterm elections. That's all I'm going to say about that. Dub, you can go ahead and what's your thoughts on this whole Iran-Israel situation? Good.
So first thing, calm down. You gotta calm down. Marky, it sounds
No,
like
I
you
ain't gotta calm down. It's my channel, respectfully.
Okay,
you go ahead and talk what you gotta say, brother.
Go ahead. You're not gonna let me say nothing. If you want to talk over me, calm down. So the first thing is I've held this position from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's America's position to tell anybody what to do with or enriching uranium and nuclear weapons. We got nuclear weapons. So who am I to tell anybody or to say that any country shouldn't be able to have them if we got them? You know what I'm saying? That's my first thoughts. My second thing is though, when Trump comes out and says that these things were successful, I wouldn't believe it unless the ceasefire was agreed upon. Clearly, Iran understood that we really don't need this problem in our lives right now. You know what I'm saying? It could get a lot worse if America really steps into this thing. My third thing is I still don't see the reasoning and the blind support, in my personal opinion, the blind support of Israel. I was listening to a congressional conversation, a congressional hearing. I believe this was in the House, and there was an individual, a Democrat, and he was speaking on, the hate for Jews and all these type of things. I don't think Americans hate Jews. I don't think that's a true thing. I think there are subsets of both parties, you know what I'm saying? The extreme sets of both parties that feel some type of way about the Jewish people. Me personally, I just don't see what our undying loyalty is to them. This is their battle, in my opinion. So I disagree with it. At the same time, what I will say is Iran is the same country that has supported and been financiers of multiple rebel groups that have taken out American troops. So I see all of I kind of see it from both sides, but at the end of the day, I still don't think this is something we should be involving ourselves in. I think Trump, in my personal opinion, he out of line for being what I would say convinced by Bibi Netanyahu, who I still think is a warmonger, possibly a war criminal. I'll leave that up to the world courts, but I still think that those things. I think he got too much power and too much sway on the policy of the United States, and I can't stand that. The last thing I'll say, one of the things you said, Marky, when Trump came out and said, and you brought up the civilians that were killed, and the bombs that were dropped by the B-2 bombers, and why he said that it was going to be 2 weeks before, or he would take it into consideration to make a decision in 2 weeks. Well, if you go listen, and once again, watching The View, they had one of the senior correspondents or senior officials in the Trump campaign over there interviewing him. And one of the things he said was, well, hell, what you expect? We're not going to tell him when we're going to do it. So if we say 2 months and do it, it may not have been a 2 month thing, but we're not going to tell you when we're going to take action. And I think that's always a good thing, not to tell the enemy when you're going to take action. But at the same time, I don't think action should be taken in this situation. You know what I'm saying? I understand the chance of death to American and all that kind of stuff. I understand that. Let the old people do what the old people do. Iran is more of a threat to Israel than they are to America. And so at the end of the day, man, stop fighting Israel battles, man. That's not our battle to fight. And I understand they supposed to be we supposed to be in an alliance and all this kind of stuff. That's not our battle to fight. Let them folks fight their own battle. We supply them with money, with plenty of weapons. They got some of the best intelligence in the world. So let them handle their own business and keep America out of this, man. In my personal opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to call this show changing from Democracy 101 to Firecracker Democracy 101. Marky be ready to go.
Yeah, go
But
ahead, Free.
I think I agree with a lot of what Dub said, especially when it comes to attacking. When you do attack, you wanted to have the element of surprise. You don't. That's one thing that the United States always did well with. We never gave the look of when we was going to attack. We did it in the spirit of the moment. If you go back to when the Gulf War and then the second Desert Storm, it was in the middle of the night. It was something that was spontaneous. We didn't know it was happening until the news popped out. So that's something that you always want to keep the element of surprise if you're going to do anything. But at the same token, I don't understand what is the purpose outside of trying to help a friend, so to speak. I don't see what's the purpose. I mean, we don't get anything to gain from this. We don't gain anything from it. we just it's we're just now coming out of the Afghanistan war. We probably somewhere around 5 or 6 years coming out of the Afghanistan war, and then we're starting up something else that can lead to a much bigger war. So I don't understand what are we getting out of the the purpose of us sticking our nose in their business, their affairs. They have they have their own army. If it's an issue, they go ahead and deal with it. They have other allies other than the United States. Why we got to be the one to help everybody else out? Sometimes we got to sit back and say, okay, let's see how they handle it on their own, or let's see who else steps in to help them out. And then if they absolutely need our help, then we'll step in. We're so quick to jump in right off the break instead of just sitting back and watching how things play out. So I don't understand what's the purpose, but it is what it is. We're gonna find out what transpired from these actions these upcoming weeks. Hopefully, it's nothing major, but I doubt it. I think something major is gonna come behind this.
Most deaf free.
I
And
want to make
before, go ahead, Dub right side.
last point, Marky. One thing that you
Well,
said.
actually, my bad. Before you go, Truth, my brother Truth Zone, how you doing, bro?
What's good, fam? What's good? Mic check. Can you hear me?
You
Yes,
crispy,
sir.
baby.
Yes,
You
sir.
crispy.
Okay, I'm good.
Before I let you go, Truth Zone, go ahead and I actually want to respond too. So go ahead, quick Dub, and then let me go. Go ahead.
Last point was I don't think this is gonna escalate into a war. Even now, with them coming out saying that it's a supposed ceasefire right now, um, I think that the power of the military of the United States, it does push certain countries into saying, you know what, I really don't want that smoke right there. So let's go ahead and agree to this ceasefire. And I'm always on the side of um, not taking action and having ceasefires, those type of things. I'm always on that side of it. At the same time, I don't think there's a reason for us to be supporting Israel the way that we're doing right now in the way that we're doing it.
All right, Dub. Before I let Truth go, I just want to say, I hear what y'all are saying on that point, and I hear what Free is saying about Desert Storm. But what I say about Desert Storm, while we might not have known, well, I ain't gonna say we, I wasn't even born, but while y'all might not have known that when exactly the operation was going to take place, it was well known that the US and the coalition, they were going to invade Iraq, and they were going to drive Iraq out of Kuwait. And it was well known they were I'm not sure which code of the UN charter they were going to use, but Iraq was out of order for invading Kuwait and destabilizing the world's oil market. So that was well known. But what I'll say is, even if that is the case, that there is an operational advantage to and a strategic advantage to not having the decision for to go to war discussed in the public, still in our constitution, and even if there is a precedence in other situations where even Obama has bombed Syria and took
Libya,
other actions such
Libya,
as killing Americans. Excuse me.
Libya as well. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. No, absolutely. And also killing American citizens, uh, while their cases were being adjudicated before the Supreme Court. Even if those people were potentially part of Al Qaeda, still, I don't agree with illegal actions like that. And furthermore, the right to go to war is the right of the Congress. It is enshrined in the Constitution,
But
and
we're
I
not at
don't
war.
agree, bro. Hey, be
Now,
in
now,
order.
now you know how
Be in order.
now you know how I feel when you be
No,
on
you
my
be like,
Be
level.
in
hey,
order.
Now
Mark,
you know how I
all I need
feel.
is
Be
50 seconds, my G. All I need is 50 seconds. What's up?
well, let me just close quickly by saying the decision to go to war is too huge of a decision to leave in the hands of one man,
Right.
and that is what the founders of the Constitution decided. We had some great people that were president of the United States, such as a great war leader like General Washington. Okay, and he wanted to go to war to help King Louis over there in France, and the Congress shut it down. It had nothing to do with us. That's how it's supposed to be. The decision to go to war is too important to leave in the hands of one person, especially an orange person like Donald Trump. Now go ahead, Truth Zone.
You can call me
But we're
orange
not at
person.
war. We're not
I
at
just want
war.
I just want to come and show you some love back, man, because give you some veneration because you came reported to my channel yesterday, even though the brothers was having contention over there. It was it was a verbal debacle, there's a verbal catastrophe going on over there. You already know,
It was
but
out of order. It was
I
like
expect that when
DubRightSide
these
like to
conversations,
say.
right? I expect that when these type of conversations arise. But like, as far as like, the United States and Iran, one thing you got to take into consideration: the United States has been in a perpetual state of war since its inception, since 1776. The Vietnam War. We came out of the Vietnam War. Hold on, I'm gonna take it back. We came out of World War II, matter of fact, went right into the Korean War. And then when that Korean War subsided, I think it was like a 10-year peace. It was like 10 years of peace, and then we're right into the Vietnam War. And then after the Vietnam War, it was like 20 years of peace. But you got to think the United States was still indulging in covert missions in other countries, like doing coup d'etats in foreign countries. So it's just the war machine churning. You got to think they spend almost $1 trillion a year, that go towards the military industrial complex. It's the war machine churning. They spending, bro. They not spending $1 trillion in a fiscal year for no reason. They have to use those weapons on somebody. You see what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with a totalitarianistic government, they don't give a shit, man. A man like Trump, they don't have to go to Congress. There has been a plethora of different presidents since 1941. I think Roosevelt was the last president to go to Congress and asked to go to war. So that's been over 80 years. So ever since then, they've been doing executive orders, But other than that, man, I see it as just the war machine churning, man. Just the military industrial complex doing what it's doing. You got to think Israel is an olive branch of the United States government. The state of Israel came to fruition after 1945, And even before that, after World War I, the Balfour Declaration, that's when Israel was first considered a state. So it's just the olive branch of the United States, man. It is the United States in the Middle East. So that's why they're allowed to have nuclear weapons. And I feel like, all nuclear weapons should be eradicated, bro. That's how I feel. That's my perspective on it. I don't want to be long with it. I just want to put that on the floor, man.
No, take your time, brother. We ain't got no problem.
No, absolutely. You were speaking very eloquently.
Yeah, take your time. We ain't got no problem with it. Only thing, we're not at war. And there was, when you say that we're in a war, do you think we're in a war now?
We are in a situation where we could potentially be in a war in the coming weeks. Yes.
That's not what I said. Do you think we're in a war now?
No, right now we're in a ceasefire.
Okay, so my whole thing is the action that we're taking is what led to the ceasefire. And so sometimes, and I don't always agree with it, and you know how I feel. I always say, people call me an isolationist. You know what I'm saying? I think that we should worry about what we got going on over here before anything else. I'm not trying to deal in everybody else's business. Me personally, as a voter, I voted for Trump. So at the same time, I don't think that he's put us in war times. You show strength by power. You know what I'm saying? But you also can maintain peace through strength. And in this situation, I think that's what he was looking to do. Once again, I still think that he out of order because I don't think it was him that really wanted. I think that he had the influence of Netanyahu. And I done told you how I feel about Netanyahu multiple times. I'm not a fan of the brother. Me personally, I'm not. I think that it was almost a coup the way he got in there the last time. In my personal opinion, that's my opinion.
What I'm saying, like, I want to chime in one more thing, man. At the end of the day, all of these wars are fought over natural resources. You can take it back to the Afghanistan-Iraqi war. That was fought over crude oil and opioids. Even with Iran, it's all about resources.
Uranium
too. Yes, that's what it's all about, man. It's not about it's not about bringing liberation to the Iranian people. No, it's not about that. Even when all wars have been about resources. Every last one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. and sometimes land when you look at the case of Gaza and Israel. My position, Dub Right Side, overall is we would not be in this situation if Trump didn't pull us out of the 2015 agreement.
That
That's
was the
my
worst
position I'm
agreement
standing up.
ever.
Excuse me?
That was one of the worst agreements ever.
In what way?
I'll tell you exactly how. And it goes back into what I brought up earlier as far as or Iran utilizing these other Hezbollah, Hamas, utilizing them, being able to provide them with money to go and attack American troops at that current moment in time. A lot of that came from the pallets of cash that were dropped off due to the agreement that was made under Obama, the Iran nuclear deal. That was one of the worst deals we could have made. Now,
Okay,
hold on. Let me finish.
you
Now,
cut me off first. Well, first you
well,
cut me off, great
you
brother.
asked me. Okay, go ahead.
No, no. So you got to make a point. But Trump is now talking about lifting those same sanctions and letting Iran access $30 billion worth of crude oil payments. So what are we talking about? It's going to be the same agreement to keep their uranium levels at 3% that Obama had us in. It's the same thing. That money is going to go to funding their own military for when, for in case Israel decides to come back, and it's going to go to funding those groups for the fight for Gaza and Palestine. So what's the difference?
The difference is if you listen to what he speaks on, what he says is, no, we want to make a deal, right? The deal that you're speaking on, that's when the pallets of cash was being given. And who knows where that money went. What Trump is saying is that we want to make a deal with you, and we want to make it not a military deal. We want to make an economic deal with you guys, you know what I'm saying? And bring you guys into the fold, into the world economics that's going on. Iran is being stalled out right now. They being stalled out of the world economics. And so I've talked to multiple people who are from Iran, and it's interesting, some of the people that I talked to, they don't even like that. They really want a leader that's not so much of a what's the word to use here? A religious leader. They really want somebody who can come in and make deals so they can prosper economically. That's what they're looking for. And so I think there's a balance there to be found. And I think that at the end of the day, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think at the end of the day, man, Israel is possibly the biggest problem to Iran having an economic deal where they're not looking to attack anything. They're looking to do business. When people are looking to do business, everybody in the world want to do business. You know what I'm saying?
And my bad, bro. They want to overthrow. Listen, man, it's basic. They go around, overthrowing governments. They want to transmute Iran's government into a more of an imperialistic government, just like how they did Iraq, Japan. It's the same playbook over and over and over again. That's what it is. And I know y'all not. Is everybody over here pro-Trump or anti-Trump? I don't want to see where everybody's here.
Trump, pretty much.
Yeah, and so many people give so much validity to what Trump says and does. He's a Hollywood actor, man. He played in Home Alone. If the little boy Kevin McCullough was president right now, nobody would give validity to that guy. Nobody would take him serious. So I look at Trump just like the star of Home Alone, man. It's the TV personality, man. If somebody thinks that Trump's in Washington D.C. calling out shots right now, you got your rabbit ass mind.
No.
That's just not real. That's just not realistic. Let's just be all the way real.
No, I definitely think he has the people behind him, like a Stephen Miller, as well as other war hawks that we might not be seeing in the public
Who's
eye
behind him?
that's pushing Trump.
No, I'm saying, now ask yourself that. You saying you got Stephen Miller. Who's behind Stephen Miller? And then who's behind the people that's controlling Stephen Miller? That's how you look at things. It's a hierarchy, right? Just like when you go to a job. Right. Just like when you go to a job, it's a hierarchy. You see the people at the front of McDonald's, the employees taking your order. Then you see the GM, and then you got the owner of that McDonald's, and then you have the people working in the corporate spaces. So it's the same. That's how America is ran. You got Trump. He just the figurehead. He's just like a person at McDonald's when you go on there and give him your money. That's what he is, man. Just a figurehead, man. Nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but still, I have a lot of fun beating up on him, regardless of the fact
Right,
that
right.
I
I get
think,
what you're
yeah, no, absolutely. No, I don't think he knows at least half the crap he's talking about. I think he's just a meandering idiot when he steps up there to the mic. But at the same time, depending on how this conflict goes, or no matter how it goes, his name is going to be on it, regardless of whoever was pushing him to make this decision or whoever did make the decision behind the scenes. But overall, uh, to put a pin on this, we're let's see, we're 30 minutes in yet. Well, actually, no, let me ask. We actually just had a vote. Matter of fact, just about an hour before we came on the show, we had a vote concerning the War Powers resolution, where Senator Tim Kaine was actually coming in and he was trying to uh, uh, he was trying to enforce Congress's constitutional right to declare war, and he was trying to limit Trump's power to make another strike without congressional approval in Iran, and it lost 47-53. Um, and that surprises me. A lot of those Republicans said that they would be against a war under any circumstances in the Middle East. Um, do you? Well, let me go to Truth. Then I'm gonna go to Dub. Then in Free, if you want to come in on it, you can go ahead. Do you think that the neocons in the Republican Party have once again reared their head? And do you think that this might not be the last real conflict we see in the Middle East, at least in the coming years,
saying.
especially with Bibi Netanyahu still at the seat
I'm gonna give a
over there
brief.
in Israel?
I'm gonna give a brief synopsis, bro. Like I stated, bro. It's just the war machine churning, bro. And of course, yes, it's gonna be. I can see that regional war, a regional conflict between the state of Israel and Iran. It could possibly go global, but I'm not going. I'm not seeing that like as of now. But like, yeah, war is a racket, man. It's a book written by what's his name, Tim Spadley, whatever his name is. War is a racket. It's a business. So yes, war. It's going to continue to proceed as usual. It's business as usual. That's what it is. Like I said, they spend almost $1 trillion a year in weapons for the military-industrial complex. So they have to be able to utilize and use these weapons on somebody. So as long as they're spending almost $1 trillion of our tax dollars every year towards bombs, planes, nuclear warheads, rockets, missiles, AK-47s, we're going to continue seeing this going on. After Iran, they're going to topple another regime over in the Middle East. They might even go to Asia and topple another regime. They've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. If you want to study American history, they've been going to war. This is what they like to do. They're a bunch of bloodthirsty oligarchs and aristocrats.
Warmongering megalomaniacs. Not only that, but before I let Dub go, I also wanted to add another point that I guess Dub could comment on. I let it come around to you, Truth, later. But we might not be out of the nuclear scare with Iran, because Russia's the deputy chief of Security Council, former President Medvedev, he basically came out and said that there are countries that are not a part of the nuclear proliferation treaty who would be willing to give Iran a nuclear weapon in order to give them a nuclear deterrent. I'm looking at potentially Pakistan, who's not a part of that treaty. So again, I don't think that we've achieved our final victory yet. And well, Free fell out, but well, go ahead, Dub. What do you think about the War Resolution Act failing, at least in this fashion? We might get another one next week, depending on what happens with the ceasefire. But what are your overall thoughts and about the nuclear scare not being over?
It's interesting to me. This isn't new. This isn't anything new. I understand that Congress wants to come out and really, and I'll just be honest, really Democrats, they want to come out and enforce these things now, but we didn't see them enforced under Bush. We didn't see them enforced under Obama. We didn't see them enforced under Biden. The first Trump presidency, we didn't see any of this. I do think that there should be war. Like, if we're gonna declare war on somebody, that's one thing, but war hasn't been declared. So when you're making the statements that war is on the cusp, I would disagree with you. I would disagree there. And I do think that the military-industrial complex is out of control. They've been out of control. I live in a town now, a city, whatever you want to call it, where who is it? I can't even call their name right now. Oh my God! Any other day I call their name, but we have different entities, because I live right by Air Force Base. We have different entities that are definitely a part of the military-industrial complex. I'm against the military. I'm against it in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? I think that we give way too much money to the military. Should we protect ourselves? Absolutely. But we've even went as far as to give the quote unquote, correct me if I'm wrong, Marky, the Golden Dome over to Israel. And I've heard, I think we have one that hasn't been reported on, but that's my opinion. I don't know that to be a fact. But at the same time, I think, man, it's too much, man. You're giving these people, you're giving these quote unquote individuals, a part of the military industrial complex, way too much money. And at some point in time, you really need to shut their ass down. You know what I'm saying? And when I say shut them down, I'm talking about, man, we're gonna manufacture. Forget these outside companies. We're gonna manufacture it through the United States, and we're gonna keep track of what we have. And if we're not at war, or if we're not even in this situation, we're not gonna use anything that we have unless we're going into those wartime situations. We're not just gonna be bombing people. Who are we to bomb folks? Who are we to take innocent lives? I disagree with the military industrial complex completely, and I think they have too much pull, too much power in this country. And so, some type of way, I don't know what the right way is, but we got to get these people out of there. I don't even think you can vote them out, because first off, they're not really a part of the government. They're individual entities, and a lot of these entities are the same people who end up in the military, and then they go contract for these different organizations and things like that. So I think, if anything, Congress need to be doing is figuring out a way, and they're not going to do it because they get paid by these folks. They all of them, they got their hands out left and right, taking money from the military industrial complex on both sides. So they can say what they want to in Congress, but until you vote on something that will shut down the military industrial complex, which they're not going to do, until that happens, then I don't trust none of them.
Well, I'm gonna let actually, Dub, what do you think about? Well, before I give the mic to Truth Zone, what do you think about Russia's Russia's deputy chair of their security council coming out and saying that a nation that's probably not a part of the NPT is could step up and give Iran a nuclear weapon, and that the nuclear scare might not be over, because not only that, they said that how do I say that shit? The IEAE, which is the UN nuclear watchdog, they said 2 days ago that Iran basically let them know before these strikes happened that they were moving their enriched uranium, and at this time we can't really account for where 900 pounds of it is. So yeah, what are your thoughts that the nuclear scare might not be over? Then I'll pass that to Truth Zone.
I think that even if, and first things first, I would say I don't think that Russia, I don't think they want real smoke like that. I don't think anybody really wants nuclear war. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Nuclear war, it changes things. Even with the bombs that you brought up, some of the largest bombs that the United States has that's non-nuclear, right? I don't think anybody wants that, because at the end of the day, once nuclear war starts, I'm just gonna be honest. Between Russia, China, and America, um, those are the nuclear powers that are really going to take effect. Now you have other countries that may have nuclear bombs and those type of things, but nuclear weapons, I don't think any of them are going to take that chance to say, "Oh, we're going to give this to Iran." You know what I'm saying? And not know that, okay, it's going to be found out that we gave it to Iran, and once that's found out, now you not you and your country is at risk. I don't think it'll happen. I think we all should take a step back, especially the president, especially Congress in America, and say, look, I don't think any country wants that. Once nuclear war starts, it's going to destroy, in my personal, and at least a third of the world once it starts. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's what anybody wants. But at the end of the day, man, that's why I say you resolve these type of things economically. As long as you make deals and you come out and you allow individuals to be a part of world economics, then as long as their country can make money and prosper, I think that's when we're in our best situation. But that's my opinion on it. I don't think that anybody wants nuclear anything going on out here. And once that happens, I think it puts us all at risk. And I don't think people are willing to risk a lot of that as far as nuclear goes.
Well, before I let Truth Zone go, but that's what I'm talking about, Dub. That's why the decision to even, okay, let's not say war. The decision to even make a military strike against another sovereign nation, that's why it should not be left to another one man, because this is an escalatory move, like you said, from Russia. Now we can say they don't want no smoke, but at the end of the day, they have over 5,000 nukes. Okay, now I don't now. I should say Medvedev did say Russia would not be supplying them with the nuke. He made that very clear because, like I said, they're a part of the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, which basically says you're not allowed to supply other countries with nukes. However, like I said, Pakistan, which does not even recognize Israel's existence and think that they're a bunch of fascists for what they're doing to Palestine, they might not want the to be attacking Iran, which is directly at their back. So I don't know. That's a really sticky situation, but that's just my point. Why it should not just be left to one person, because I that stuff is chilling to me. I don't like to even hear stuff like that, because even I don't think Iran should have a nuclear weapon. I think that they are a fanatical regime. I think that they're a bunch of authoritarians. What they do to their firstly they and the way how they try to push foreign policy,
Hey,
like you
Marky,
said, using terrorism. Well,
I was going to
go
say,
ahead.
I won't cut your wisdom, bro. Let me ask you a question.
Go
And
ahead.
because
No,
you
go
had
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
mentioned something.
You absolutely good. Go ahead.
Now you mentioned something. You had mentioned that you don't feel like Iran should have a nuclear weapon because they're totalitarianistic government. They're just a rogue regime. Wouldn't you say the same thing about the United States government? The United States government is the only one
Yes.
that's ever used anything close to a nuclear weapon. During World War II, right? So
Yes.
it's like what is good for the goose is good for the gander. It's like the screen door swings both ways. Like you telling somebody else they can't have nuclear warheads, but you have them. You see what I'm trying to say? And then I think what's this guy's name up here? Dub. What's shout out to you? You had mentioned the fact that people don't want nuclear war. If they didn't want it, nuclear weapons would have never came to fruition. They would have been eradicated a long time ago. Even during the Reagan administration, they were in talks to eradicate every nuclear warhead. They just downsized on them. It's not the fact that they don't want it. If they really didn't want nuclear war, man, they would just get rid of all of them. Everybody was just disarmed. But that's not the case.
If they no, and this is the problem. When nuclear weapons have never been used, they've never been used in war.
An atomic weapon.
Yeah,
I didn't say atomic. Hold on. Go ahead.
What I'm saying, you can say that a nuclear warhead and an atomic weapon is synonymous with one another. It's just an atomic weapon is like what kilotons, and a nuclear weapon is megatons, right? So it's a microcosm. So that's what I'm saying. Is there a diametrical difference between the two?
Yes.
Right, but you can still say an atomic weapon is very devastating. That atomic bomb killed what 50,000 people in Japan,
220,000 people
people.
in
That's a whole city, man. That's like that's a small. That's like St. Louis.
Even more, and not only
but
that,
I
you
agree
had the
with that
effects
piece.
of
I agree with
radiation
that.
afterward. Go ahead, Dub. My bad. Go ahead, Cook.
You can say
Hold on. Truth. Let Dub cook. Go ahead, Dub.
Oh, you got it.
I agree with that piece. My thing is ever since Nagasaki and Hiroshima, ever since then, atomic weapons haven't been used like that. And so all I'm saying is that if and I'm really speaking on the major individuals, the major holders of these weapons. Yes, Pakistan, they have nuclear weapons, never used them. Russia has them, never used them. The United States has them, never used them. China has them, never used them. What I'm saying is that when you look at what the Ayatollahs over in Iran speak on, and maybe it's just speech, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just that. But we've seen the proxy wars that they've went and created. The same way we've seen the proxy wars that the United States have pushed. Okay. At the end, my thing is I think that more people want peace than war. And sometimes, and me personally, you know what I'm saying? Peace by strength, in my personal opinion, it means a lot. And so if you're gonna be a world leader, which we know who the world leaders are at this current moment in time, whether we agree or disagree with who they are, whether we agree or disagree, these are the individuals who have those powers to use, but have refrained from using them.
Right. Hold on.
Let me just.
Let Dub finish down. Let you go.
Cool.
Go ahead, finish Dub.
Last thing I was gonna say is I also agree that the proxy wars and the regime changes and those type of things that the United States have pushed for the last 30 years, hell, damn near since I've been alive, they're out of order as well. And so we're not seeing that happen at this current moment in time. I'm not saying it won't happen. But what I am saying is however we get around that, and once again, coming back to economics, because I think war and economics go hand in hand. If everybody can eat, then it makes it easier for war never to happen, or at least a war at a level that we're possibly looking at, according to Marky right now, to never happen. And I would rather be on that side of the fence than saying, you know what, forget, we're going to stall them out. We're going to starve them. You know what I'm saying? Which was Trump's original plan in his first his first term as president. That was his original plan, was to stall them out and starve them. And so in this situation now, he's saying, let's make a deal economically so we don't even have to deal with these type of things. That's where I fall and say I agree with that piece of it.
For sure. And I just wanted to bring some correctness or some validity to the dialogue we was having about, the United States using nuclear weapons. And I was right. I like to fact check. I don't like getting up here just saying, talking out my ass, saying stuff I don't know what I'm talking about. So the United States did use nuclear weapons in 1945. I just went and Googled it and fact checked it. So that's what I knew. I knew that nuclear weapons and atomic bombs were synonymous. They're one and the same.
No,
there's
the same thing. They
right. There's no diametrical difference between the two.
Go through the same process of enriching uranium and compressing it and all that great stuff.
Right. They're not diametrically opposed. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, the only difference would be in the launching would be with the atomic bomb. They had bombers back then, so they would fly the plane over and then they would drop it. Now there's a more sophisticated basic way to deliver the nuclear bombs. Now you could put it on a missile and then you put the nuke and the uranium in the warhead itself and you launch it on a missile rocket or whatever. Right. So before we move on to our next topic, let's touch on what's going on in Gaza just quickly. So Israel, they had basically a 2-month siege where they were starving Gaza from I believe February to April. Hold on one sec. Oh, my brother Art. This is my brother RGM in the building. Salute to him. I'm gonna come to you in 1 second, RGM. But yeah, Israel basically had a 2 month siege of Gaza from February to April, or excuse me, from March to May, where they were starving Gaza of food. They were not allowing any humanitarian assistance to go in. No food, no gas for cooking or boiling water, nothing. And now since May, they've been letting food in. However, over 600 civilians have been killed going to these food trucks. And literally just yesterday, there was an airstrike directly on Palestinian police officers that were handing out flour. So while we've been distracted in Iran, the genocide has not stopped. Like, these people are literally risking their lives for food, and they killing them by the truckloads every single day. So but and not only that, they've gone back to bombing Lebanon. So yeah, there's also that. So Israel is back to their normal their own normalcy. So what are your reactions to that? I'll go to Dub first, then Truth, then I'll come with RGM.
I'll say it from the beginning. I think Israel out of order. So, I mean, it ain't nothing else I can really say. They've been out of order for a while. I think well, I don't want to get that far into it. I ain't even gonna say what I really want to say there. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest problem is BB and his whoever he got with him. You know what I'm saying? His team, whatever you want to call them.
Thugs.
I thought that from the beginning. I still think that BB, the man, should have never been reelected. I thought that what really happened in that election was possibly illegal, possibly, but once again, that's another country that. And my whole thing, why I just don't understand why we support these people. You know what I'm saying? I still don't understand that. And I understand people want to say these are God's chosen people and this, that, whatever. Well, you could tell me all that, but God chosen people, supposedly, they the aggressors in this situation. So at some point in time, I think the United States, I listened to a whole congressional hearing where Israel was continuously defended from both sides once again. And I just think, man, I don't know exactly who they done paid off and what they got on the I don't know what it is. But whatever the support for these people are, the government, not the people of Israel. I ain't saying the people, but the government of Israel. I don't understand that support, and I think that's the worst thing. And it came from all sides. I think that's the worst thing that's happened to the United States as far as war and what's going on in the Middle East right now. I think that's the worst thing that's happened is the United States support of Israel. And I'm not saying the Jews, let everybody live how they gonna live as long as they peaceful. But I think that's the worst thing that's happened.
All right, go ahead, Truth. Now I'm gonna come to RGM.
All right, I'm gonna be short with my soliloquy, man. The thing with he mentioned what's his name? Dub mentioned that Israel is God's chosen. When you look at God means governmental ordinance departments. Governmental ordinance departments. So Israel is chosen by all world governments. When you talk about God's chosen, that's what they really mean. But that's besides the point. Israel, the Israeli government is a colonistic government. It's a foreign government occupying stolen land. They got the Gaza Strip under siege. The Gaza Strip is what, 17 miles long? You got 200,000 people living on a 17-mile in a 17-mile radius. That is putrid. That is asinine. That is malarkey. That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing holy or chosen about these people, man. That's the way I see it. And then when you look at that's what I'm saying. The state of Israel is a new state. It's an olive branch of the United States. So what are you expecting to do? All the United States has been going around committing, atrocities and war against humanity. That's all we do. That's all we've seen. That's all we've seen. That's all I've ever seen. What Tupac say? They got money for war, but can't feed the poor, man. We always talking about war. They ain't never talking about feeding fixing poverty. Not the Reagan administration, the Lyndon Johnson administration, they declared war on poverty. You remember that? verbatimly. He came out of his mouth and said it was war on poverty. So they've always conducted war on poor people, man. That's what it's about. You have the few on the many controlling the few on the. You have the few on the top controlling the many on the bottom, instead of the many on the bottom controlling the few on the top. You see what I'm trying to say?
No,
It's hundreds of millions
absolutely.
of us.
And
It's
we
hundreds.
go. Go ahead, Truth. My bad.
No, I was about to land my plane. I was about to land, bro. I just wanted to say that, man. Like, I really like. I'm raw with my approach on everything. I'm raw with it, man. You know, you came to my channel yesterday, bro. You're not gonna get it no raw than this, man. You know, I'm not
No,
gonna be politically
absolutely.
correct. I'm not. No, I ain't doing none of that. I can see what it is. It's business as usual. It's just business. But y'all got it, though. You got it, bro.
No, absolutely. And you are a very well informed brother. And to the brother Melvin Air podcast in the chat, he's dropping some bombs. Look up that Havara agreement. It's
Look that
literally
up.
an agreement. Yeah, it's literally an agreement between at least over a dozen Zionist organizations and the Nazis in 1933 when Hitler took over, which allowed for 60,000 German Jews to go over to Palestine. To really, which is really that's the bedrock of the state of Israel. So absolutely not. These people, I'm not gonna say it. I don't want nothing to happen to yours or my channel, Dub. I'm not gonna say that word. But I'm gonna just call them devils. I think that's a better word.
Man, they're
They're just
nomads,
devils.
bro. They're nomads. They don't have a homeland. Because if you look up the etymological meanings for Khazarian, Ashkenazi and Jew, it means wandering. They're nomads, bro. They don't have a homeland. The Ashkenazi and Jews, Khazarians, they don't have a homeland, bro. That's why the state of Israel came to fruition in 1945.
But the Ashkenazi and Jews, they're converts. They're not even the same as the biblical Jews. They're converts.
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying. They don't have a homeland. They are frauds.
That's tough.
They're frauds.
RGM.
That's just me being real, but I'm gonna land there.
No, absolutely. RGM, you got any thoughts on what's going on in Gaza, or if you want to say anything about Iran, Israel? I'll give you some time.
Man, I said it last week. My feelings remain the same. I'm against genocide. I'm against all this stuff that you was talking about, where they was starving the people, and then they finally let food in, but then you got people who are getting killed on the way to go get the food. It's all a big mess.
No, absolutely. It is a big mess. It's terrible. Pittsburgh T, you got any thoughts on what's going on in Gaza or Iran, Israel? I'll give you some time to wrap. Go ahead.
The Gaza thing, more importantly, that one is a secret, because what they've done is they've kicked out all of the international journalists. All the information we're getting is from Israel. Even them making the food, like you said, at one point they had the UN and like a separate entity that was dropping off the food and stuff. Israel has now taken that over. So now they've taken it over, and they've taken over in a degree where they're rationing out not only how much they give and when they give. So them people are they're literally starving, where they don't have food. And then when they do drop the food, there's a fight, and then the Israelis are there, and they just unload on people. They just, no discretion. They just killed 100. I think they killed 200 people this week on those food drops. But they're supposed to be monitoring, and you never hear anything about that, because nobody says anything at this point about anything that they do. And the biggest problem that you have with Israel, you go all the way back to JFK. I think the only time they ever had any president say anything against them, and Biden did it in a soft shoe manner. He reprimanded them, where he said it was something he did with when they were trying to occupy the West Bank, and he basically went after the individuals that were doing something against the West Bank. He didn't go after Israel as a whole. He went after individuals that were trying to occupy in Palestine. So they never actually go against the actual country as itself. So, I mean, everybody can kind of draw the lines and see what it is. But a lot of this stuff that they're doing, they've taken over the media part, where you're not really getting a lot of information with it. They don't allow a lot of information being put out. And then the people that they're allowing in there, they're being escorted through there. So you're never going to get no true sense of what's going on with any of this stuff. It's all being spoon-fed to us. And we know most of this stuff is just not true what they're saying. It's really propaganda, majority of the stuff, from Gaza to Iran. And the people are just trying to draw lines and stuff, and you really don't know what's going on, because you're getting bits and pieces of stuff. and it's intentional that they're doing it at this point, because it's not even like it's not even that hard to figure out that they're intentionally not disclosing things at this point.
You know, one of the individuals, and I know y'all gonna hate that I say this, one of the individuals that's talking very strongly about this right now is Candace Owens.
Yep.
I'm a fan. Hey, y'all ain't gotta like it. I love her. I love Candace.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And she keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that she brought out was how, and once again, the influence that Israel has over the United States. It's ridiculous. And I watched. I don't know if y'all remember. What's the girl name from? I don't know where she's from, Germany or something like that. Climate control lady. I can't remember her name now. I can't remember her name.
Young girl, the
Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg.
Man, they literally. She was on a humanitarian mission, and they literally went. Israel literally took over because they were bringing food and supplies over to Gaza, and Israel they captured the ship that they were on and held these people captive. And I mean, at some point in time, man, you got to stand against this nonsense. Israel is out of order right now. They really out of control, and some of the things that they're doing. I ain't saying I ain't saying the people of Israel. Let me put it that way. I ain't saying the people of Israel are horrible people, but the government over there is just as bad as individuals in the United States government, individuals in any major government, and it's gotten out of control. Something has to be done, and in my opinion, one of the things that I dislike, and like I say, I support Trump, but I don't support everything he do. And one of the things I hate is that, man, you got to call these folks out and go. And if you're going to be holding individuals who are coming over to supply aid, and you allowing Israel to hold these people captive, I mean, it done got to a situation. It's out of order. That's all I can tell you. It's out of order right now.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but we've never had a president that hasn't
Give your final words on it. Yeah, give your final words on it, Pittsburgh T. Then we got to move on. Go ahead.
Oh, well, quickly, I mean, we've never had a U.S. president hold any of these people accountable, not one. The only one that we had that actually put some teeth down and some rules down and was trying to say, hey, we're going to send the people in there to check for y'all nuclear weapons. We're going to make AIPAC register with an international body where they're trying to contribute to these campaigns. And we're going to keep records with JFK. That's the only president we ever had. The rest of them, I mean, you could say that Trump, some people have the opinion to say he's the worst one, but none of them hold him accountable. They put lines in the sand to say, don't cross, they cross, nothing happens. Nobody does anything. We just act like we don't see what's going on. And this has been going on forever. It's just that they've been getting emboldened because nobody does anything. So they just keep crossing lines. And then if you look at Israel, how does Israel keep growing? Like, how do you grow a country if you're not doing something that you have no business? How do we take land? How do you unforcibly take land from somebody? How that happen? But you just knock on the door and ask them to move? How do you get land from people? Like, this ain't that hard. These people have been doing this forever, and that country's been growing, and no president has the guts to stand up to them. Not one. And I'll lastly say this. Gaza is the worst because those people control their water. They control their lights. They control their food. They can't leave the country. They have a barrier wall. They cannot leave that country. And then there's an ocean that if they get in the ocean, they can shoot them at the boat. So they completely have those people under siege and completely at genocide at this point. So that's just completely ridiculous.
And real quick, Pittsburgh, when you brought up JFK, what they did to him? They got him out of here, didn't they? Got him out of here. And so, hey, man, I always say, and and I think my brother Truzon said it earlier. He said, man, you got to look behind the scenes at who's controlling these people, and whoever is in control, whoever it is. The same way they wanted JFK gone, you know what I'm saying? They're going to do what they want to do, and I don't know the right answer to the whole situation and how we get it under control as people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the answer to that. But I think having the conversation about it like we having right now, it's a start. It's a start. It ain't the end all be all, but it's a start.
No, absolutely. Let's move on to our. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you,
Yeah,
bro.
you crispy. You
Yeah.
crispy.
Okay,
I
okay.
was want to add on one more thing. I was want to interject
Okay,
one thing.
last point. Go ahead.
I was gonna say bro had mentioned that Israel is able to go, take land and not be held accountable for it. But look, like I said, Israel is an olive branch and extension of the United States government. Think about what the United States government did. They're illegitimate government. If you want to be already technical, how did they get the land here? They took it by force, right? So the same thing their mini-me does. Their puppetry. That's just a puppet state. That's all it is. A puppet mini-me state. That's all it is, man. Of America, or the United States corporation in that matter. But you got it, man. I'll land with that.
Absolutely. Let's move on to our second topic. We
Hey,
gotta end
Marky,
off
real
at
quick, Marky.
10:30.
Can I? Let me do one thing, Marky.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Jay Gibson in the building, man. Shout out to Dr. Mark in the building. Shout out to Melvin Air Podcast in the building. Shout out to Free. You know what I'm saying? He pulled back
Leo.
up in the chat. Shout out to Free. Shout out to Not Another Boxing Channel. You know what I'm saying? B3, my brother. Shout out to John Smith in the building. Shout out to Son of God in the building. Shout out to Mad Dog in the building, man. We appreciate. Shout out to Kazi in the building. We appreciate y'all pulling up and showing love over here, man. We appreciate it.
Man, one more thing, Market. Hey, bro, y'all got decorum over here, bro. Damn, bro, y'all got to y'all know how to have dialogue on my channel, bro. Marky, man, you gotta have thick skin, bro. It's like the lion on my channel is the lion's den, bro. You
We
ain't got thick
in order.
skin.
We in order, man. We gonna be in
Nah.
order
Yeah.
around here.
I'm
We
a
gonna
Hey,
great
be in
Marky,
host.
tell them
order.
Thank
about
you
how it
very
was
much.
yesterday, bro, on my panel.
Nah, yeah, it was a bunch of drunk old men arguing about who was the Aboriginals here first. That shit was funny, though.
Yeah, a lot of those panels be like the lion's den. You don't know how to fight verbally, bro. You going to go sit down, man. But yeah, that's all good, man.
But the thing
Man.
is, around here, one thing that we like to do, we like to be in order, because if we all talking at the same time, we all arguing, can't nobody gain nothing from it. You know what
For
I'm saying?
sure. And I agree with that, but
Can't nobody gain nothing if we all
right.
talking at the same time. So we like to be in order. That's it.
Right, but I just look at analytics. I know contention and drama sales, man. Because somebody gonna call each other a bitch ass nigga, and then somebody's gonna get to argue, and the numbers might go up. So that's how I look at it, man. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with being informative. Sharing information and sharing thoughts. But I got it, man.
It ain't always about the numbers. Sometimes it's more about the information than the numbers, in my personal
Right,
opinion.
but it's you gotta think, man. YouTube is the new TV. It's the new entertainment, bro. Because people have moved away from tuning into HBO and soap operas. So YouTube is the new entertainment. Megalodon of entertainment, man. That's how I look at it.
I agree. Mark, you there?
My bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you crispy. Did you switch? What you switched?
Yeah, I'm on my laptop now. But let's. Yeah. My phone was messing up. It was bad. But let's move on to our second topic. We only got so much time left. We got about 40 minutes. Dub, you can go ahead and present this. Your issues with socialism, as well as some of the key talking points or policies of Democratic ticket winner Mamdani up there in New York. You can go ahead.
So, question for the panel. First things first. The question is, and let me get it out first. Is socialism good for the United States? Right. You just had in New York the Democratic elected individual who's going to be running for mayor. He's a known socialist, claims to be a socialist himself. We have multiple individuals in the Democratic Party at this current moment in time. AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, figures that are known and claim that they're socialists. Do y'all think that will work for the United States? And do you think capitalism or socialism is better for the country? And some of the things that I've seen so far from the current socialists, the claim socialists, that's what they claim they are. Socialist, Marxists, I don't know what they are. I'm just saying what they claim to be. As far as things, defunding the police, you know what I'm saying? Open borders. The American people have already voted against this, but do y'all think that this is sustainable for the Democratic Party?
Well, I'll go first, then I'll shoot it to Troop Zone. and Pittsburgh T, and then RGM and W can get back in on it. But I'll just say, yes, I think socialism is good. I think I'm a believer in democratic socialism. I'm not gonna say I agree with defunding the police. I think that's stupid. I mean, I don't think any society, I don't think any society can survive without some type of law enforcement force. So, no, I mean, that's just stupidity. And I think a lot of that was just from people in Black Lives Matter who wanted to push an agenda and wanted to radicalize a lot of youths who were feeling very hurt about what happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, as well as a lot of other systemic issues that they felt were not being handled. But no, I don't think Mandani, he was not running on defund the police. And when I think of a democratic socialism, particularly in this country, I mean, you just go to Mamdani's main policies that he ran on. Okay, he ran on minimum wage increase. He wants everybody in New York to be making at least $30. He ran on a rent freeze because everybody here knows that the rent in New York is outrageous. To live in New York, my sister lives in the Bronx. Okay, she don't live in Manhattan or that area, but I know it's outrageous over there. Okay, free childcare. Okay, free public transportation. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that, and he's gonna pay for that by taxing rich folks, by taxing the 1% who don't pay their fair share. So I don't see how that's harmful to the United States. Now, those more radical policies, defund the police, absolutely not. And I don't think he has the ability. I don't even think that's something he himself has brought up, because he doesn't have the ability to do that. You would need he would need the entire city. He would need at least a supermajority in the city council to even get something like that through. So no, I don't even see that defund the police. I think that thing is completely dead. I think it's a completely dead horse at this point in 2025. But all those other policies I named, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, socialist policies, another one, Medicare, Medicaid. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that kids and seniors in this country and people who have pre-existing conditions, making sure that they have some type of coverage. Like, I don't see how that hurts anybody. And again, it would be paid for by taxing those rich folks who, again, do not pay their fair share because they find all type of loopholes in the system. So I don't think socialism is a bad thing. At least democratic socialism. I'm not for traditional socialism.
The problem with that, Marky, the problem with it is
I was going to go to Truth Zone.
I'll
go quickly and then go to Truth.
The problem with what you just said is that once again, once you start saying that you're going to tax, or first off, if you're saying that these rich people, they find loopholes, well, put it on Congress to fix the loopholes. Put it on them first. You know what I'm saying? Fix the loopholes in the tax situation. The second thing is what you're literally saying is take money from people who are making money and give it to other people. How is that good? No. So everybody should work for their own. You're telling me that if I get to a certain level as far as the money I'm making, I get an accountant and they say, well, these are the loopholes in the system, so you don't have to pay as many taxes. Well, now we're going to say, well, because you're not paying, you're rich now, you've made money, you've made good decisions. We're going to take your money and give it to somebody else. How is that fair and how is that equal?
Because there's a lot less of y'all than there are of the poor folk.
Who cares?
A lot of, well, again, I care. And the people that voted for my care.
This is an equal opportunity.
And don't be out of order. I was talking, brother. I let you spit. Matter of fact,
I wasn't finished. You cut me off.
You cut me off. But go ahead, finish.
This is an equal opportunity country. We all have the opportunity to make the best out of ourselves and to be able to make money in this country and to provide for our families. So if I make more money than you, you're saying that, well, because I'm making more money, because I've made better decisions, that the government should be able to take money from me and give to others when they haven't put the same work in that I've put in. That's what you're saying.
Well, again, I don't know everybody's circumstances, and I'm not going to bring that up into this conversation. But what I do know is I think that people that are on the bottom, they have a lot less to give to our system. Okay, especially and again, I don't disagree with you on certain points. People making bad decisions, and I feel a certain type of way about them getting government benefits. Like I see women like that all the time that got 7 kids by different dudes, specifically so they can get a free cell phone, foods, SNAP, and all the greats, and free housing. So I've seen that, and I can understand what you're saying on that point. But at the same time, if I'm gonna take it from somebody, respectfully, I'm gonna take it from somebody who has it, DubRightSide. I'm not gonna take it from somebody that's broke and already is struggling to keep their nose above water. So, and again, that's what Mamdani won his Democratic ticket on. That's probably what he's gonna overwhelmingly win the New York mayoral race on these socialist policies of I'm gonna kick it to Truth Zone. Truth Zone, what's your thoughts overall on what's your thoughts on socialism? Do you think it's good for the United States? And which way do you think the Democratic Party is going to go on this?
Hey, give me a second. I'll chime in. Give me like 5-10 more minutes. I'll chime back in.
Okay, no doubt. Pittsburgh T, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, socialism, we've never really truly had socialism or capitalism 100% of this country. I think when you start going to these extremes, you start losing people, because there are certain parts of each capitalism and socialism that people like. You start going to those extremes, you start losing people. And I think this particular gentleman that you're talking about, you look at some of the things he's trying to do, they're extreme. Because we have to remember, New York is a place that they already pay ridiculous amounts of taxes. That's not a regular place. Like, they have state tax, they got city tax, and then if you live in Manhattan, you're paying another tax. So now you're going to throw another tax on there. So what's going to end up happening is, I don't even think he's going to win the thing that he's trying to do, because Mayor Adams has the majority as far as being on both sides of the fence. He's just on that extreme level. So for us that doesn't have to deal with paying more taxes, yeah, it sounds great. But if you live in the city, and now when they say we take it from the rich, what's the rich? Because remember, we talking about New York City. So somebody making $200,000 ain't the same as somebody in Alabama making $200,000. So who's the determining person to determine what this rich is? So when you start doing this taxing thing and you want to tax people more to give it to another group, most people are going to push back on that, because they're not going to be with that. Because everybody in their mind is going to think that they're going to get to that level, and then it's not going to be, it's fine when you're at the bottom rungs, but then at some point you have to have balance with this. And I think this is imbalance, and what you're going to end up doing if some of these policies are enacted, you're just going to push businesses out. That's all that's going to happen. Because they're not going to, when you start telling businesses they have to pay X amount of money, cool, they're just going to go to the state next door and they're going to work over there. That's what's going to happen. So that's what you're going to do. So you have to be able to work inside of the fabric of things and what you're doing. And I don't think this is good, what he's doing, because I think he's on an extreme level. I think I don't believe in either party, either side of that completely 100%. I think you got to have a balance, because I like the fire department. I like the police department. Those are all social programs. Your public schools, those are all social programs. Some of the capitalistic stuff I don't like. So you just have to have a blend. You can't go to the extremes of that level. And I think that's the problem. And when you want the government too much in your business with the tax and stuff, you're saying that the government can do better with your own money than you can do. And we've seen time and time again in these cities and states and counties, no matter how much we give these cities and states with more tax money, they don't do the right thing with it. So why would we keep giving them more money and they're not doing the right thing? And then you're literally taking money from people to turn over to people who don't handle the money correctly.
Damn, Pittsburgh
Also-
T, you burned it down on that. RGM, my brother RGM, you there? Okay,
I'm here.
There you go, RGM.
I'm here. My bad.
Nah, you good. Nah, you good, brother. I get
You
it.
good, brother. You good.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this conversation we having? Do you think socialism is good for the United States? And what do you think? If you've heard of candidate Mamdani or Councilman Mamdani, what do you think about his socialist policies up there? Do you think they're extreme? Do you think they go too far? Do you think they don't go far enough? What do you think?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know much about him specifically, but I know that socialism can work if it's implemented properly. I don't. You know, if I'm not mistaken, socialism kind of stemmed from the Nazi Party, didn't it?
Well,
Absolutely,
they call
absolutely.
themselves no, they call themselves national socialists, but no, they were not at all whatsoever in any way of their implementation. But
Okay.
so yeah, no, socialism it at least it stemmed from the
It
political
stems from
theory of Marxism
Marxism.
from
Thank you.
Karl
Thank
Marx
you.
yeah, from Karl
Marxism.
Marx in the 19th century. But in its implementation, it just eventually leads to communism, where the state owns all the means and production, and yeah, you don't have any rights, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. I'm not.
Wait a minute, Marky. You just said that it stems from Marxism, where the government control. I apologize. My bad. I apologize.
Well, no, Marxism.
Go ahead.
Well,
I apologize.
well,
Hold on, real quick, Mark. I cut the brother off. So let
yeah,
the brother
okay,
finish.
yeah. My
I
bad. I was gonna
apologize
cut
for
him
that.
off
I
too. Go ahead,
apologize.
RGM.
I
Yeah, finish up.
apologize for that.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things I've always been kind of skeptic about. But I mean, just like anything else, if it's implemented properly, it sounds like it can do on paper. Sounds like it can do good for the American people. So I'm not completely against it. I'm just very hesitant and cautious when it comes to whenever I hear socialism. That's kind of how I approach it. But I don't know the policies with this person up in New York specifically.
Yeah, and I get why you feel that scared, because, like I said, I mean, when we went through a whole Cold War against the ideology of communism, which, like I said, it starts with communism starts with socialism, but the socialism I'm advocating for is democratic socialism that it's built into our electoral process. Where it's not just an authoritarian regime that owns all the means and the process, and we have to live under the state, whatever they say. So no, that's not what I believe in. And socialism I believe in is the state helping the people that are on the bottom. Okay, giving them, like I said, free public transport. Pittsburgh T mentioned public schools. I strongly believe in free healthcare. I think a for-profit healthcare system in this country, not only is it just fucking immoral, I mean, right? I mean, it's just immoral, like playing out. Like, so I believe in democratic socialism, like you said, when it's implemented correctly, and like Pittsburgh T said, I also believe in a balance. I don't believe that the state should own all the means. I think that some privatization in industries such as oil, such as energy, and not only that, technology, that's good. That's really good for us, especially when we have competition. So again, I think I'm more like a 60-40 democratic socialist.
So
like
Marky, I want to ask this question. I want to ask you this. So,
yeah, go ahead. Then I'll go to Truth Zone. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, go to Truth. I don't want to cut him off either.
Truth Zone, are you there? You ready? No, it looked like okay. Go ahead, Dub.
So my question, and
Yeah, give me like. Yeah, I'm in the midst of cooking right now. My bad, bro.
no, do your thing, brother. Do your thing. We
ahead, brother. What's your
we ain't got
thoughts?
no problem. We ain't got no problem with it.
All right, cool.
So, Marky, my question is, and you yourself just said that communism, right? Which I think we would all say we're against communism, but communism comes from, or the beginning of communism is socialism. And the thing is that and I'm not, I'm more for small government than big government. Me personally, the reason I am is because I trust myself to do with what the means that I make. You know what I'm saying? I trust myself to put it back in my community more than I trust the government, me get or the government taking it from me. You know what I'm saying? And them doing the right thing with it. Because for somebody who doesn't create anything, the government, to have the monies that they have, that they take from the people, and we see already, and we've already criticized the military-industrial complex, right? We've already criticized that tonight. Well, a lot of the money that goes to the military-industrial complex comes from what? Taxes. And so, if the government takes more from the people, and you'll tell me, and I understand you saying it's going to be the 1%. Well, it started at the 1%. That's where it started. But it always falls down the line. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get what they can from the 1%. This is why I say that if anything, fix the tax code. Fix that. You know what I'm saying? Put pressure on Congress to fix the tax code. So then these people can't claim and find these loopholes. Put that in place. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to socialism, it leads directly into Marxism and communism. And once you start that piece of it, I listen to some of these people, especially, and I ain't a Democrat. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I try my best not to. I always call myself an independent. I vote for Trump, but at the same time, I don't like a lot of Republicans. Me personally, that's just me. My thing is fix that piece of it, and then we can finally start to get to something. But if you start to just saying I'm gonna tax the rich, well, you're gonna get so many taxes from the rich to some degree. And once again, they're still going to find loopholes because those loopholes haven't been closed. And then the taxes are going to roll down. So then when you're an individual making $200,000, you're not rich. But now your taxes are significantly higher. And I'm not saying that we should be putting crazy taxes. And me personally, I think there should be a flat tax. I think there should be a certain percentage that you know what I'm saying? Everybody pay 7 to 9%, possibly 10 if you want to go that far. It should be a flat tax. But when you start to say that I'm going to tax the rich, well, the same people that's telling you to tax the rich are the same people that's taking advantage of these same loopholes. The Bernie Sanders of the world, the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. These people are rich. They're rich. And guess what they're going to figure out? They're going to figure out how to take advantage of the tax code. That's why they don't want to close the loopholes. And so when you get into this whole socialism thing, it starts off as a mindset, oh, it's going to be just the 1%, but it always rolls down. And that 1% end up being the top 20% versus just that 1% being taxed. And it end up being individuals who are actually going out there making a living for themselves, making a living for their families, you know what I'm saying, that's not relying on government subsidies and those type of things. And I think we should. The government, if you're going to take our tax dollars anyways, then it should go to the police department. It should go to the fire department, the school systems. I ain't got no problem with that piece of it. But when you start to say we're going to take it from here and give it to here, well, wait a minute. Why these people, they have the same opportunity that I have?
I was going to ask you a question, Doug. I know I'm talking out of turn. This is True Zone. You don't have to divulge this information to me if you don't want to, but I was going to ask you not like a personal question, but it's somewhat of a personal question. Has it been a positive or a detriment, since you've been engaging in, the whole political paradigm, like in voting and stuff like that? But like I said, you ain't got to divulge that to me, man.
No. What do you mean? When you say, ask that again?
I'm saying you don't have to divulge. I'm asking, like, you had mentioned that you voted independent, that you voted for Trump.
Right.
I'm asking, like, has it been, since you've been voting, since you've been participating in the whole political paradigm, has it been a detriment or a positive? But like I said, you don't have to divulge that to me if you don't want to. I know it's personal.
No, when you ask that question, what do you mean? Like, so I mean, I've been voting since what, 2010.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Since 2010, have you seen? Has it been since you've been? I'm saying since you've been voting, has it been a detriment or has it been a positive? Have you seen? Have you reaped the benefits from voting? That's what I'm trying to ask to sum it up.
Yes, I have. I voted originally. You know what I'm saying? I voted for Obama twice. When Trump ran against Hillary, I didn't vote that election. After that, I voted for Trump, and so the tax cuts from Trump, as well as some of the things as far as my 401k go. I got a corporate job, so it's been a benefit. It has been a benefit to me since that. But originally voting, I didn't see any benefit from voting for Obama. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see any benefit. And like I said, voted for him twice. Had an absentee ballot cast in my absentee. It is what it is. That was in 2008. And so it's been a benefit for me as far as taxes go since I've been voting for Trump, and as far as my 401k goes since I've been voting for Trump. That's been the benefit that I've seen from it.
Right. So so it's been beneficial economically, but on a micro level, on a small level. So I get what you're saying. All right, cool.
And the other thing, I'll say this as well. Even when and I'm big in, I always say, I think, hey, shout out to voting for the president, but I always say, I mean, voting for mayor or local elections always are better for me. One of the things that I noticed, and I actually ended up moving out of Atlanta back to the country, you know what I'm saying, after I had my son, and some of the policies that were there in Atlanta versus where I'm at now, I've seen a lot of benefit for me and my family.
Right. Okay, I get what you're saying, because I ask a lot of people to divulge that to me, you know, whether it has been a detriment or beneficial for them voting, and a lot of people, they really can't articulate or convey to me which one it has been, because I'll be telling them voting on a federal level is like a fart in the wind. It's like playing the lottery. It's like you better get struck by lightning if you thinking that your vote of them running on a promise is going to materialize.
No, and that's why I say I think local elections are more important than federal elections.
And I agree with that. Because it felt like that.
Well, let me give you a little pushback. I know we talking about tax to a degree, and people, we often use the term that they need to fix the loopholes in the tax system. I don't believe it's loopholes like that. I believe we just don't understand how our tax system works and how our American economy works. America's built off small business, where most people go to college to get a job. If you become an employee, you're almost X'd out of the tax system. You've done that to yourself, because you don't get the benefits that an employer gets. You don't get the tax benefits. You don't get none of the stuff that they get when they hire people and they run businesses and corporations. That's why if you look at the taxable rate for most corporations, it's mostly single digits, where you're in double digits, or they get tax breaks from the state, the county, and the city, and most of the time on the federal level for having those employees. And we just don't. So that's not necessarily a loophole. That's just the way that system is made. Now, the fix would be what you were talking about earlier, which will be a flat tax if that's what we want to do. But there's no real loophole in it. And you got to remember, the government ain't stupid. So if they know 1,000 people are cheating, let's say just ballpark, 1,000 people are lying on their taxes, they're not going to go after the corporation. Why? Because they got accounts. They got a team of accounts. So if they send you a letter saying you owe $10,000, you finna figure out how you finna pay the $10,000. You not got no attorney. Exactly. So when you send that to FedEx, you say they owe $1 million. You finna be fighting with them people for about 3-4 years. They're gonna bring a team of accountants. It's gonna cost you so much money and resources. They don't want to go through that. So that's just the way that the system is set up. It's not set up for us as employees. So until we get to the mindset where we become employers, all of this stuff, it just becomes fugazi, and it's like, oh, the top 1%. No, it's not. Because if you look at most people who have companies, them themselves, the company could be worth, let's say the company's worth $5 million. That's the company. That has nothing to do with me as the individual, where I don't take my salary ain't $5 million. So it's all a game that we have X'd ourselves out because we just don't want to learn it, and we just throw our hands in the air and say it's the rich and the wealthy. Well, no, it's not. It's just we just don't have an understanding of it. We refuse to try to learn it, and we've gotten into this race running the wrong game. We trying to be the best employees. If you're trying to be the best employee in the United States of America, you are wrong. If
Hey,
you're
them
trying to
facts,
be
bro. Hey, no, I won't cut you, bro. Them facts, man.
Hold on. But the thing is
yeah,
this. That's why what I said from the beginning. I think there should be a flat tax. You
no, I
make
agree
this,
with you. Yeah, I agree with you.
oh, go ahead.
Well, let me just land it to say this. Like, I think if we get away from employee mindset, where we get in the W-2, and you think some kind of way that your tax money is going where you have a purpose of where your money is going, and you think that because, and this is the other fallacy that we have, we're so low in thinking, most of us, where we pay, let's say on average 20%, some people more, some less, but let's just say on average 20% out of our W-2 taxes, right? People are happy to get some of the money back that they let the government borrow with no interest. That's how messed up we are mentally. And we don't understand that when you have a business, you pay no taxes all year. You get a bill at the end of the year if you owe them money, or you get a return. They don't send money in constantly. Some people do that, but that's not necessarily what they do. As a W-2 employee, every time you get paid, the government gets paid. And we don't think nothing is wrong with that because we on the wrong side of this thing. We got to get on the right side of this thing.
But and Pittsburgh, that's one of the things I did, and I think one of the reasons I think the way I do now, I took, and even now I can do taxes for anybody. You know what I'm saying? I got a LLC that does taxes. I have an LLC that does a few other things. I don't want to get too deep into it, but opening that LLC and utilizing a lot of my income, you know what I'm saying, pushing it into my LLC, I get taxed on the income that I get, or as far as my W-2 goes. But then I also have the ability to utilize businesses and to say that, well, wait a minute, no, y'all, I can write this off here. I can write certain things off, and just understanding the tax code, it was interesting to me that it ain't even hard. It's not really difficult to understand. And I always tell you, I'm not brilliant at it. I'm not even brilliant. I'm probably a layman in it compared to a lot of other individuals. But I've realized that having businesses that LLCs, and I mean, it don't take much to start that, but having that piece of it, man, I'm like, wait a minute. They still sending money. The government still end up sending me money for stuff that I done wrote off. You know what I'm saying? And making it a part of my business. And so all I'm saying is everybody's not going to see it that way. Everybody's not looking at it that way. And I agree with you. Education, tax-wise, is very, man, that's one of the best things you could have. At the same time, I know plenty of people that are doing business and those type of things. They doing it, and they just taking, hey, they gonna take this check. You know what I'm saying? They ain't really looking at some of the other things that goes into it. They ain't started LLC, ain't got an EIN number. They ain't got these certain things as far as the IRS go. So when I'm saying it, what I'm saying is if when I can't tell everybody how to get into that. And honestly, I don't feel like it's my job. At the same time, I think a flat tax fixes a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why at the end of the day, I say put a flat tax out there, because the people who are out here working 9 to 5s, you know what I'm saying? I work a 9 to 5. Well, not 9 to 5, but I work a job, you know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, that flat tax, it kind of eliminates some of those things and it makes it easier for the people. I don't think that the government is looking to make it easier for the people. I think they're looking to make it as difficult for the people as they can. And then, like you just said, the IRS, they'll rather come after them versus coming after the people who are really doing flagrant things, because those individuals who are doing flagrant things, they got accountants out there. So they done pay individuals to make sure that they can find a way around. Whereas the average everyday American, they not doing that. So I'm just saying that knowledge is everything, but at the same time, everybody ain't got the time and they living their life. You feel me? Because they doing that, let's just make it easier and say this is the flat tax for everybody. And if you make, regardless of whatever your company makes, and there's been plenty of times where I understand that I can make sure that my company don't make no money. I'll start and never mind. I don't want to get too far into it. I don't want to get too
Now, I
far
was going to
into
say
it.
something. I was going to say one thing, but the brother left, man, because he was speaking about. He was saying that a lot of us are stagnant or comfortable with being employees instead of employers. I'm a solopreneur, so I wholeheartedly agree with entrepreneurship and solopreneurship. I've been out on my own 3 years now, and I've been very, very successful. I have a very lucrative business. And I have no plans on going back working full time. And this is no slight towards anybody that has a corporate job or a 9-to-5 job. It's just I can't do it no more. Once I started seeing how much the company I worked for was bringing in, I looked up the numbers and I said, "Oh, hold on, why are they making $250,000 every quarter, and I'm only making they giving me this?" So hold on, let me reevaluate what I'm doing with my life. But I wanted to tell that brother that before he left the panel. Yeah, I'm in full agreement with that. What he was saying.
Absolutely. I was just sitting back soaking up the knowledge. I mean, I'm still in that employee phase. I don't really understand the tax code yet. The thing I'm just focused on is paying off my truck, making sure I got a roof over my head, making sure I feed my son.
But that's the average person. That's how people.
Right. So I was gonna finish off and and I was gonna finish off and say, me personally, I just know I don't want my tax dollars going to $100 billion increase for the defense budget. Me personally, I would prefer, and I'm just speaking for me once again, and my perspective on just the tax code and what our dollars go to. I would prefer it to go to feeding children. I would prefer it to go to making sure everybody has health care in this country.
But you feel that way, but it's still going. Even with you feeling that way, your tax dollars are still going to and what you're saying you don't want it to go. That's where it's going. And so you got to understand how. And the system is the system. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe we need a radical like a Mamdani. Maybe we need more of him.
No, no.
The system is the system.
All right.
We got to break this in, like you said, like y'all like to say about Trump. We got to get the establishment up out of here.
But you missed the entire point of what I was saying there.
I hear you, Doug. I hear you. I do.
Okay.
I do. It's not. It wouldn't be. And those are good points. It wouldn't be comfortable for you. You're on the bottom, but you're trying to come up now, and those same policies are now hindering you getting to a higher pay cap in your life. So I hear what you're saying. Still, right now, I'm currently at and what you say is true. It is the system, but again, we have, or I shouldn't say we. I don't have. I have a delegate to Congress, but I think she advocates for me for what we need down here pretty well. I ain't got nothing bad to say about her, but we are able with our vote to choose our representatives to fix that tax code. Now, unfortunately, politicians are a bunch of lying ass sons of bitches, and they put a dumb son of a bitch like Pete Hegseth in place, and they're giving him another $120 billion. But maybe if we put AOC and maybe Mamdani in the Congress later on in 2028, you never know what might happen. DubRightSide. But this is a great show. I'm gonna end it off right here. I think this is the perfect place to end it at. I had a lot of fun. Truth Zone, you got anything to say before we get up out of here? That brother Truth Zone, he cooking.
Hey,
We gonna
hey, Truth, real quick.
ahead,
Hey, Truth. I gotta come pull up, man. Drop your link, man. I gotta come pull up on your show one day.
Great channel.
If
We were
anybody
just
know,
over there
hold on,
yesterday. I was just wanting to say we were just over there yesterday, Dub, and this man went for 12 hours straight arguing about do black people deserve reparations, and you had a lot of different perspectives come on there. You had a lot of different brothers who are just skeptics, don't believe in any type of historical documents, think that black people were the real Native Americans, and it was just a wild time. So I'd love for you to pull up over there too.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Although we in order over here, we try our best to be in order. I can definitely be out of order. So let me know, man. Hey, drop the link so I can pull up over there, man. We gotta let my brother Rodzilla get in.
Man, Rodzilla, you came at the end of the show, but I'll go ahead and let you cook for a little bit. We talked about a lot of different things, so I'll give you the next 4 minutes. Go ahead, Rod.
Whatever that's my brother right there. Shout out to Rodzilla in the building.
Oh, for real. That's a good brother. I see him everywhere.
What up, Rod? You on mute, brother.
Rodzilla. Democracy 101 to Rodzilla.
Going once.
Going twice.
3 times is a bad thing now. You on mute, brother. You on mute. All right.
See, there's a message in the private chat. Okay. The other brother said he in the back. Hold on. Let me bring you up. Truth. And Pittsburgh T is in the back. My bad. Pittsburgh T, if I didn't see you, my bad. I'm damn. But
I gotta start back hosting the show, man. Marky be out of order, man. He be out of order. He be out of order, man. He be out of order.
But Truth Zone, Pittsburgh T, y'all give your final words. I think this was a great show.
Hey man, anytime I'm live, man, make sure to pull up. Man. I heard you mention that I was live for 2 hours, man. No, I wasn't really arguing, man. I really wasn't, engaged in, in the verbal combat. It's just that's how they do over there, man. I'll be in the background thinking to myself, man, these some dumb niggas, but it's all good.
Hey, brother, what's your link? What's your channel? What's your channel?
Type in True Zone Productions and you'll find me. I'll be there.
True Zone Productions.
Yeah, it gets hectic, like Marky was saying, but
Oh no! It's okay. I can be out of order with the best of them. I'm gonna say I say that respectfully.
A lot of people over there, they suffer from identity crisis, man. A lot of people saying we not from Africa, Aboriginal, all that nonsense. I don't get caught up in all that. It's good conversations that go on over there, man. That take place. And Marky pulled up, man. He held his own, so I got some respect for him.
I think I got you. You got sunglasses on in your respect.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, I got you. I just subbed to you, my brother.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mark. Yeah, pull up. I'll probably go live again Monday, man. But you got to be ready. You got to have some tough skin, man.
Hey, look. We just like to be in order for the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But if I jump over there, hey, I'll be out of order. I ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah, I wish they had more decorum. I wish them brothers had more decorum over there, man. But most of the time, they be under the influences of weed and alcohol. But everybody got vices.
Hey, shout out to them, man. We ain't got no problem.
Yeah, man. It is what it is. Them niggas gonna be drunk and they're gonna be arguing whatever day of the week it is. But thank you so much for coming, Truth Zone. And like you said, I'm gonna definitely try to pull up to that Monday stream if I see it. Pittsburgh T.
Real quick, Rise in. Okay, go ahead. I seen you come off mute for a second, but go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, man. Great show, fellas. Touched on quite a big topics. I think sometimes we just got to get out of watching these same TV shows over again and get away from some of these talking points. We got to relook at things because the tax system, a lot of that stuff, we just got to revisit how we've been told that this stuff is, and that's just not the way it is. We shouldn't be bumping our heads against the wall over and over and complaining about the wall, nor should we keep giving the government more money for them to misuse the money. I don't believe in more government oversight and them having money because they haven't shown the ability to handle them. They have an audit every year with the military and they fail it every year. They lose the money. They don't know where guns are. They don't know where weapons are. They don't know where bullets are. They don't know where actual money is. It's just a mess. and that's an audit every year. They have never passed it. It's insane. So I appreciate you fellas, man. Everybody have a great weekend.
All right, most def Pittsburgh T. It looked like Rodzilla got up out of here. Thank you for coming up, Pittsburgh T. Dub, go ahead and give your final words.
Hey man, another great show. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to. I got to go find the damn Deontay Wilder fight, man. I want to see it, but I don't. Hey, it is what it is. But Marky, man, you're doing a hell of a job, and I appreciate you allowing me to rock with you. I'm hosting the next show, man. I'm hosting the next show because you be out of order with the hosting, man. You be out of order.
I think that's your opinion. I think I'm a slightly better host. I think we can put that to a vote. But it is what it is. You're my great brother. And most def Dub will be hosting the next show. Thank you, everybody that came through. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to Democracy 101, as well as DubRightSide. Democracy 101 is on the road to 200 subscribers. Thank you to everybody that got me to 100. We're going to see y'all next Friday. I keep saying I'm going to be coming out with a video, but I talked about, well, I don't know if I talked about it on stream, but I tried to come out with a video on this Iran-Israel situation, but it's such a fast-moving, developing story. Like, every time I would try to set up to record or I write down my statements I was going to say, like, new updates will come out, and it's like, it's no point. So I'm glad we got to talk about it up here. I'm going to try to post a topic video maybe next week, but definitely look out for it. And look out for our stream next Friday, man. Thank y'all for pulling up.
Marky, I got to tell you one thing before you go. I got to tell you one thing. Man, you're getting better and better, and I love watching the growth, the development, and you're a brilliant political mind, man. I disagree with some of your points, but you're a brilliant political mind, and I appreciate you allowing me to rock with you, my brother.
Most def. And thank you for rocking with me this Friday evening, great brother. Peace. We're going to see y'all next Friday.
Peace. You got to shut the show down.
I did. Just give me a